Well, hi, you guys. So today we're going to start out with the cross-cutting concepts. So what are they? Cross-cutting concepts are going to be things that we're going to be covering all year long. And we will be looking at them in each and every one of our lessons. So they cover things in science, and we can see them in many different science concepts. So we should be able to see them throughout the entire year. So let's start with our learning target. Our learning target is I can learn and understand the cross-cutting concept skills used in science. Our success criteria is going to be that I will know that I can do this when I can. Identify the 7 cross-cutting concepts for given observational examples. So if I give you an example, you can identify which cross-cutting concept. And ongoing, we're going to do this continuously, identifying the cross-cutting concepts that you use in each lesson in each day. So we're going to move it on. We're going to go on to our notes to kind of get you into these 7 cross-cutting concepts. The first one is patterns, consistent and repeating structures or events. So for example, the solar system repeats itself over and over. Cause and effect, identifying how one event causes another to happen. So if we have a sprout happen, it will grow into a larger plant. Scale proportion and quantity allows us to use measurements to relate different amounts and sizes of things to each other. So the Earth versus Jupiter, the 2 different sizes there, they are different in scale. Okay, obviously, the watermelon is not the same size as the Earth or Jupiter. Proportion is going to be different as well, and then the quantity could be different as well. Then we have matter and energy, tracking of energy and matter flow in and out and within the systems to help us understand its behavior. So if we look at this energy pyramid here, we have energy flowing from the sun to the grass, to the herbivore, the rabbit, then again to the snake, and then up to the consumer, and then back to the decomposers. So energy is being transferred through the matter in this example. All right, and the next one is going to be system. So a system is an organized group of related objects or components. So here we have a cell and all of the organelles within the cell that work together to help this system function all together. And we're going to look at our next one, which is going to be stability and change. Stability and change is that a system might stay the same or change over time due to a variety of factors or conditions. So for example, in the summertime versus the wintertime, because of the temperature, which would be one of our factors that could make it change. Then we have structure and function. The way an object is shaped or structured determines how it works. We have a gold bar that has these sturdy, solid parts to it that will allow it to be used in jewelry. And then we have systems and system models. Excuse me. Let me get a rewind back to that. So it's system models, a replica of a system used for understanding and predicting systems of behavior. So you can create a paper plane that will help you understand the physics of a real plane or a model plane. All right, so get your notes ready. If you do not have the fill in the blank page notes, then you'll just need to copy these statements down for each one of these. We're going to start with patterns. So if we look on the right hand side over here, you can see again a galaxy. You can also see a hurricane. And so there are patterns in these things, and those patterns can guide organization. They actually help us to classify things too. They prompt questions about relationships, and they also can improve solutions to problems. Patterns are everywhere around us. So this is basically what patterns are, and we see them in the world around us, including in shells, in plants. We see those repeated patterns over and over. The next one is cause and effect. So events have simple or complex causes that can help us predict phenomena. There can be multiple causes for an effect, and one event causes another event to happen, or event 1 causes event 2 to happen. So say you see a banana peel on the floor, maybe the person tripped on the banana peel and fell. Scale, proportion, and quantity. So scale, proportion, and quantity helps us to study systems that are too big or too small. Phenomena at different scales may not be observable, so it might be hard to see something at a large scale like the solar system. You have to scale it down to be able to see. Functions of a system may change with a different scale, so the way it functions may be different based on the size that you make it, smaller, larger than it normally is. It also compares units of measurement. So you're going to have smaller units and bigger units depending on if it's scaled down or scaled up. Estimation is important in this concept as well because you kind of have to estimate distances like in between the parts of the solar system. So the next one is systems and system models, a group of related parts that make up a whole. They function and work as a whole. And if we look at this atom, you have your nucleus and the electrons running around it. There's parts in this nucleus, and they all work together to form this atom. So the components of the system interact, and the models that we have are used to represent systems and how they interact and behave. So these models help us to be able to say how things work. All right, so energy and matter. Energy and matter. Matter is made up of particles. Energy is transferred through those particles, just like we see in this energy flow diagram over here, this pyramid. We can see that the energy flows up the pyramid with the matter as one organism eats another. So matter is always conserved in these reactions, and we transfer that energy and it drives the motion and cycling of matter. So as we move the energy from one place to another, to another, to another, it drives the cycle. Energy takes many different types of forms. So the sun's energy and energy in these guys for food, and then when this guy passes away, he gets broken down by decomposers. So it can take many different forms. Now we're going to look at structure and function. So the function of an object depends on its shape or structure and how the parts work together. Okay, the properties of what the object is made of is important to its function. So what this is made of, these set of lungs, is going to help to be able to have it serve a function or do something for you. So for example, gold is malleable, meaning it can be made into sheets, and it is ductile, bendable, which allows it to be shaped easily. It's a great conductor of electricity and electronics, and it can also be molded into jewelry. So those two properties help it to be able to be used in different ways. All right, so looks like we've got an earthquake going on with these buildings over here, which is a perfect example of stability and change. So stability means that it is unchanging. When a system is balanced, change happens gradually or suddenly over time. Well, earthquake would be suddenly, and then we have controls with it. So that allows matter in and out of the system. We also have feedback loops, which helps keep that equilibrium or maintain equilibrium. We have positive, so A causes B, which causes more of A to happen. And then we have negative, and negative promotes a balance within the system. So those are our two types of major feedback loops besides the equilibrium. And patterns can be observed to help make predictions. So for your assignments today, your must do is the video notes that you just did with this assignment that we just went through together, your flip video introduction, and then your should do's are either going to be the color code personality learning test, or you will be working on the how all about me. I'm sorry, I forgot that for just a moment. The all about me paper that you can get from your teacher. And your Aspire to Do, today we don't have anything on that part of the agenda. So that flip video introduction is going to be for you to be able to kind of introduce yourself to me, and the color code personality test is also a way for me to get to know how to teach you better in this class and understand your learning style or a little bit more about you.